closed doors, and they just make their way in. And it's really fun to watch, but sometimes it's a sacrifice for the team that is in there because they're not out there earning of those other PvP points.
But right now, DFT, they definitely are, like you said, currently in first place, not by much up against RU Gang, who are, I believe they might be fighting over the hard point, and I think that's where a good chunk of their points are coming from right now, as we get a different angle in just a moment. But for that heli fight, it looked like F9 were able to get a large majority of it, but in the end, Sty did gain control over it. I don't know how many points they got. They're currently not on the leaderboard, neither are F9.
Yeah, and we do see the leaderboard there, so you can see some of the other teams. They only have 3 points down at the bottom. So 25 teams today. That's not a bad turnout for the 6v6.
Yeah, Sty get themselves up to 30 points, and that's 11th place for them with some of the PvP kills, along with, I think they might have picked up 2 of the heli crates at the end there. F9,
Mhm.
though, it looks like a large majority of their points are going to come from the crates. I believe they got 3, and then they got 6 PvP kills. So that puts them at 16th. So a minor victory for them, but they do end up losing out on some kits. And what I always wonder is, how many kits do these teams actually have prepared for themselves during the early phases of the game, because sometimes you can easily just run out of kits and that's your entire Steam gone.
Yeah, yeah. So we have Big Kahuna and DJ. They're still fighting each other,
Yeah, this is
and
DJ's base, and this is, I believe, the initial 2 teams that were fighting over the first crate. So Big Kahuna, no, there's more than likely boom inside of this base, and they have that roof camping angle. You can see there's 1, maybe 2 members up there currently for Big Kahuna. Oh no, that external gate is open for them with 10
Mhm.
minutes left to go. Hopefully, someone from DJ can at least close that one up, but you can already sense the weakness. I think Big Kahuna, seeing that it's wooden external gates out there, knows that there's some weakness to this base.
Yeah, I mean, you see the experienced players who are that will have these. Their whole base is complete. They have the stone walls. They have everything else. And when you see it complete, you're like, okay, maybe we don't want to go mess with it. But when you see wooden walls or you see a stone base, it just calls out to these experienced players, and they're like, that's an easy target.
And especially if you're isolated, like Big Kahuna and them are. Taking a look at some more bases, though, right here around water treatment, we got E-Girls. I believe we were watching them a little bit earlier on. And one of the scary things about this base, at least from our first glance, was the fact that they only have this one external gate. This is the one exit from their base, which can be a massive weakness.
Yeah, and as you can see, Too Hot is there camping it. So e-girls cannot leave their base unless they take that heli somewhere, but then they are surrounded by all the other people on their roof, which would shoot them down to the sky. So the fact that they're having to go through and now they're stuck. I mean, it's unfortunate for these, but that's a good. It's an important thing to learn is you need multiple exits out
Yeah,
of your
if
base and also out of your compound.
how do you start countering the raid if the raiders have full control over your one exit and one entrance? Too hot now, trying to climb on over, take control over this, but it looks like they actually give up one member. That's going to be in the zoo, going down there for them. I think one thing that kind of works also against e-girls here is the fact that there's a lot of forest around them, and so the roof camp counters from other teams, if a raid starts going down here, the chances of it are pretty low. You can see that right up on top of the screen. There's an entire force actually blocking line of sight for one base. That's going to be Can over there, who will not have the same kind of line of sight to try and help them out.
Yeah. The forest placements are always fun, seeing the bases put there. It can provide cover a lot during the raid phase and also during these PvP angles. So it was a nice placement by them, just the unfortunate compound.
Yeah, very unfortunate compound. Just not having the external gate. I mean, at least have two. You should at the very minimum have 2 gates down, just so you can go try to go for that flank. But it does seem like some members of Too Hot have gone down. E-girls though, because of that one crucial point, because of that one gate, they still cannot push out. And so, even though they get some kills, they're not going to be able to secure any of the loot outside, essentially. And they're still having to contest with this. It does seem like some roof camping is going on from across the ways. So, that might be one of the reasons why Too Hot haven't been able to push in. You can see Can have an angle, at least by pushing out. And there's Team Lan over there. And the third patrol helicopter has been taken down by Team Turks.
Yeah, Team Land pushing out is causing Too Hot to go ahead and put more walls and extend out that compound for e-girls.
Yeah, we
Uh,
saw.
the, but those walls only have a lifespan of maybe around 10 minutes. So it's a temporary protection. You see these fields of wall and you're like, okay, great. But if you go run out there, as you saw one just disappeared, if you're trying to cover behind it and it all of a sudden disappears, I mean, it can make a very interesting battle.
Oh boy. Speaking of compound walls, what happened here? Uh
That's
I
an
don't even
unfortunate
know.
gate. It's just out in the open. It's all by itself, nowhere to go.
Oh, was it just one wall off? They couldn't actually get that last wall to connect this, and so they had to kind of play things by ear and actually make it entire wall off on that side. That's
It looks
really
that way.
unfortunate.
That's why
We've
you
seen some
never.
other teams struggling with the compounds today. This is not the only team struggling with their compound walls.
Yeah, and anybody who's ever put down a compound wall, the terrain can be an absolute nightmare trying to place these. So you can imagine these players, they're on a time constraint. They don't have all the time that other people do on servers. And so they're just spam placing. And unfortunately, spacing is not always considered, and that happens.
Yeah, I mean, we have to remember today is a 6v6, but we did also make some notable changes when it came to the build phase. We extended it by 15 extra minutes. And so, while I want to give them some leeway for it being 6v6, you also had an additional 15 minutes to make sure that your base was down. I mean, take a look at this. And compared to the other compound walls, despite it looks like one small error right there, Sty have a beautiful compound.
It's very nice. You can see they just made the adjustments in that one area. They didn't have the angle just right. Uh, but yeah, it's quiet. I'm not seeing a lot of furnace. They do still have the furnaces cooking, so hopefully that is some high qual. But only three furnaces. It's not the what you want to see. It was probably a struggle to finish it up with that little amount of metal cooking.
It depends, right? Because they are out here in the snow. They might have been
Mhm.
able to get a lot of metal off of this, but it does seem like their base is nice and chunky. It seems like what a 3x3 core with advent calendars on the outer honeycomb as well. So a lot of teams could struggle to go through this, especially when you only have the 6 members to try and go in. I would imagine what maybe you keep 2 members outside to secure the raid and then try to send 4 into the breach. Will 4 be enough to go in and go for that C4 spam to try to get through all those doors?
It's gonna be interesting. Yeah, the honeycomb it slows people down so much. I mean, sometimes you can do the run and gun. You just toss C4 at every single door you pass by, so that can happen quickly. But a lot of the teams now have started to make those hallway honeycomb
Hmm.
like doorways, and so it slows them down because they can only do one at a time. And so it'll be interesting to see the interior of that base and if it's a typical or the older style advent calendar doors or if it's the hallways.
And now we're on board with Team Perk, who have a nice chonker of a base. That looks like one of my landings. It's actually Team Turks gaining control of roof right now with 3 minutes to go. You have to imagine this is their raid target.
Oh, absolutely. You don't see any. Well, actually, there's no way to get down. I'm not seeing any. Yeah, it looks like they maybe weren't able to put up any of the walls or anything for the roof, so they just sealed it up. So it's a completely sealed base. So, but I mean, get some C4 down in there, and you open up. Then you're in the base. You don't have to deal with turrets up top, but they probably placed on that shooting floor, I would imagine.
Yeah, they have also there was a 2v3 platform outside being built by someone, but it seems like Perks were able to spot it out early on, possibly Dead Boy dealing with that for the time being. So they might have thwarted any raid coming their way. They do still have roof access. It's just not secure roof access, as you can see. And like you
Okay.
said, not having those like peak down roofs up there makes it a lot more difficult. And they are on the lower part of this map. I mean, if you take a look at the geography, it's all basically uphill around them. It's basically built into a bowl.
Yeah, it's going to be unfortunate for them. It'll be probably great for any Raiders who will make it up that far north. And I would suggest it would be this team that we're going to, that's the closest to, and that's who flew by. So they were already checking out their neighbors.
Yeah.
So I think they're probably going to be moving on them for their first raid.
It seems like a fight made for destiny, right? Team Turks versus Team Perks. I'm definitely not going to stumble over that
Oh, not
when
at
we
all.
catch those fights. Oh, I
Yeah,
like this
it'll be
one.
fun.
Look,
Uh,
it's got a nice ellipsoid, oval. It's an oval shaped base.
yeah, don't get fancy with the terms. Well, for
Yeah, I
me, I
took
know that.
geometry like 20 years ago. So, what are
Yeah.
shapes?
It's like, what can we make with a triangle and a square? Let's have fun. But yeah, it's nice to see these different styles. I don't always think they're the greatest idea for some of these bases, but we've seen a couple of these. I know Santa does a lot of the oval or the ship, as they've done in the past. They'll create a little battleship out there. It's really fun.
Oh, like
Um,
Noah's Ark.
yeah, exactly. And sometimes it works really well for them. Sometimes it doesn't. But that's what that base reminds me of is the old ships.
Yeah, and it was a fight over the last patrol helicopter. We got to take a look at the very end there. We did note that it was Turks that ended up taking it down. Taking a look at Gamu's base on top of
Ooh.
the hill here, not too far off from junk and from launch site, and they have full control. It's fully armored. I'm wondering if they were able to armor basically to core. This is going to make it very difficult for any teams that want to try and blow in with a rocket pummel. Kind of necessitates that you have to go through doors.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. I mean, I am enjoying like the cup aspect of the roof, but yeah, you see somebody has maybe attempted to, or that was just them when they were building. But the three turrets right there, the nice bed and loots. There's not much room for a heli to come in, especially with those turrets in those spots. So it looks very secure. I wouldn't want to come up against this space.
Yeah, in terms of footprint, it is a little bit smaller than the other bases that we see, but the fact that it's armored core basically means that, it's just as chonky as the rest of the bases. Yeah, everything is armored basically throughout this entire base. There are some smattering of metal here, but for the most part, I see this and I really don't want to try and go through any of it.
I really wouldn't either. It would be interesting if they would put up armored doors, if they'd already had that much high qual.
Yeah,
It's
I
like, go
mean, I
ahead,
think
just
the
do that
the
as
big thing
well.
is just trying to find the other components for it, right? That's where you're
Yeah.
gonna run into trying to make all that armored door if you can get enough gears and such. But that is gonna be the attack phase ending, and now we are moving right into the raid phase. And speaking of, it looks like RNC, DFD, they've been here. DFD have had full control over Scuba's base for basically the last 20 minutes now, and they're already booming in.
It looks like they're just maybe not bothering to go through doors, taking out walls instead. Maybe a missed throw for the floor, or maybe they want to see what's downstairs. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I think you were talking about it, right? About how much of a nuisance it can be for teams to just be able to put up doors, and so that might be the consideration for them. Just blast through the wall so that at least there's a 30-second I think grace phase for them to not be able to build, but they still have their work cut out for them. It's RNC coming in for the counter, and that's allowing Scuba opportunities to try and put a stop to a lot of these raiding.
Yeah, we do have the compound down, which will be great for these guys. Easy to come in. We have RNC now coming in.
Oh wow, I
And
didn't even realize all the chain links going down on the outer doors. So it
mhm.
makes it that much more difficult for a player to just kind of run along the hall and just put all the C4 down. There's still an opportunity for them to do it, but it's a minor thing that at least delays a little bit, which we all know when it comes to raiding, delaying and buying time is one of the most important things.
It really is. If you can just have that couple extra seconds to rebuild something, or just have that close that door that maybe you couldn't whenever you died. I mean, it adds a little bit extra. You never know when the team might not be quite prepared to have enough C4 or rockets to go through a base, and having that one door shut or closing that door. I mean, it's so beneficial.
Yeah, we have another raid going down over here. Looks like Team E-Girls. Well, hey, you guys finally have a second way out of your base now. At the very least, the compound walls are gone, and it will be E-Girls the first team gone, eliminated by Too Hot.
That's unfortunate, but we did kind of see it coming. They didn't get a chance to go out. Looks like a lot of it was still stone inside. So it became one of those targets. It's something really easy to get.
And importantly, I mean, that was a really fast take. It didn't seem like they had to spend too much boom. So whatever loot is there, as long as Too Hot can secure it, that means they can move instantly on to their next target. Another team getting raided right now. It's going to be Bleh, getting raided by Share V right now.
Meh. Thanks, guys. It's so fun to say. So they are sending rockets. We have a couple people rocketing. Looks like they're trying to break down the shooting core. So if they can prevent those guys from having that angle on them, they can make a push in towards that gate. And so it's a nice move.
One of the big questions is, you basically have a 1 in 4 chance, right? Shooting in from the side like this, pummeling from the side for the TC to be here. But again, it's that 1 in 4 chance. What if it's on any other side of the base?
Yeah, and we are seeing mostly honeycomb now. I'm not sure if this is the base where there was no advent calendar. It's just straight to the core area. But it's still a lot to have to go through. But I think once they get a secure way in, it'll be great. But it's been fun so far. We do see Mleh trying to push out EXE, but they're in the fight with Hixar at the moment.
Yeah, Share V have their raid platform down. Basically no presence. Ecclesia, the only member of Mleh outside. They do have EXE, but he is a little bit low, and yeah, they have Hixar over there on the left side to cover that one. So trying to counter this is going to be incredibly hard. We did see some members of Sty, I believe, actually pushing in from behind, and so we might have a two-sided race coming in. Yeah, there it is. Sty is getting set up. They have about 4 members over here. They just need to start getting their raid platform down and start booming, but they have been spotted out by the people on the roof.
Yeah, and they do have a secure spot over there to at least prevent that from happening. I don't know if Cheryl, is that the name? Shervy is aware of their presence at the moment. Okay, maybe Tyrael has noticed them.
Yeah, for Share V, it doesn't seem like they have to deal with Sty. Sty, though, are looking to try and at least get an angle to slow things down for Share V. But again, they just need to get the raid platforms down, and they just need to start booming, and that's going to make it so much more difficult for Mleh at this point. I mean, you already have one part of the shooting floor gone. We saw Shervy able to deal with that with the rocket splash, and so now they have less and less room to work with. Now joining on board with Caustic, this was one of the teams that we were talking about struggling to get their compound down, and they are now starting to get raided. It is going to be RU Gang. They're currently 4th place. TC take here will put them above Too Hot, who are currently about 30 points ahead of them.
Yeah, it's still very close and early. And with this target, we'll have to see how well Caustic can defend. And if, with this base, that doesn't quite seem complete. And we have Mongo actually into one of those external gates.
It's going to be really easy for them to get in. I'm kind of surprised that they actually went through basically the doors instead, when really they could have just used the same amount of C4 or less C4 to get through the walls here. But right now they are just pummeling from the side. You can see the base starting to get rung open.
I mean, during this part, the pummeling, it really helps to open it up, see what the floor plan is going to be, and then go from there. It's nice. And we do have Perk eliminated by the Turks.
We didn't have to deal with that. So yeah, Turks, we saw they saw the weakness in Perks early on. They also had just that positional advantage, right? They were higher up on the hill. They had a natural peek down basically from roof, so someone could easily watch out vantage point and just have 5 members raiding from the ground. For Caustic, oh, they are struggling. They need to start pushing out. They do have some bags on the outside, but that is going to be the TC snipe. The rockets coming in. RU Gang taking out Caustic. That's the 3rd team eliminated.
Yeah, it's moving fast so far. Like the experienced players have definitely spotted the weaker ones, and they just pushed really quick. And that was a great grab.
Now, DJ, they've been defending here up against Big Kahuna, and this is another one of those isolated fights we were talking about how spread out the map was. Right now, their it looks like their shell has finally been breached. They need to start actually sending people into the breach to really try to control the base.
Yeah, there's not much cover going into that area. Looks like they were able to clean them out.
Oh yeah, a few members of DJ are currently outside right now. People spawning in for bags naked currently. So this is going to be a huge opportunity now. You can see Coder Salt's actually pushing in. There's two members of Big Kahuna on the other side, one down outside as well. Only one remaining. That's just going to be Ducky. And if they end up completely losing control, the raid platform is about to be gone. This is going to be a raid defense coming in for DJ.
And Scuba was eliminated by DFDFD.
And we saw that one coming.
Yeah.
We saw DFD basically on that base the entire time. Don't know uh, everything that happened around it. I believe that was what the pyramid base, right?
Hmm.
That had all the outer doors. There were multiple teams, I believe, there as well. Right now, it looks like it's Gamu going in for this raid up against Milk. Now, Milk do have some members up top, but it seems like a lot of them are on timer. We only see 3 members currently. Here comes the rocket spam.
Yeah, they have a nice entrance in here. Somebody opened the doors. Using the doors to their advantage to shoot out. That was very.
But they
But
are
Gamu.
losing
Ooh.
control. Gamu are in. Milk are spawning inside. But they are slowing down on the boom. I'm surprised coming out from Team Gamu right now. But it does seem like there might be another team starting to show up. Pobita from Uzbek from Team Pobita starting to climb on up, but he has been spotted out. Maybe he was just sent there to kind of, get some sort of intel on what's going on over here.
Oh yeah, this is still kind of an exploratory phase. Usually, if you don't have a target already set during the attack or build phase, it's like you just send one or two players to go do something. Sometimes it's going to take Bradley while it's still going to do one of the lock crates. It's just you have that exploratory member, and luckily with the larger team sizes, you're able to sacrifice one player to maybe stay behind or to do other tasks.
Oh, they've actually made their way on in, have Gamu, and they realize that, you know what, this isn't the chunkiest of bases, but the defense is here. There is one person up inside of the, basically, I guess, inner peak downs at this point, and Milk are slowly getting back on in, and this is showing Gamu slowing down on their raid, is opening up huge opportunity now to basically put a stop to this raid.
Yeah, it makes me wonder how much boom they brought with them, or if it was just more let's see what we can get done first, and then we can come back. I'm not sure what their plan was.
We had Too Hot actually taking their second raid as well. I didn't see the name of the base that they ended up taking out. I believe it was Team Cheat. That was another one that was actually kind of isolated there, I believe, on the north hand side. And so we're seeing a lot of teams right now just trying to find those easy raids before they start kind of snowballing through the rest of this.
Hmm. Yeah, you do want to get rid of maybe your neighbors. Usually, are the first ones you want to go after, just so you can leave later and go further out to find another team.
Yeah, the best defense is a good offense, right? As some people say. And right now on the offensive, it looks like Team Oof are getting raided. PvE bots are inside of their base right now. They've already sent about 4 or 5 members into the breach. That means confidence. That means they have full control over this.
Yep, looks like they are running and gunning up top, taking out the C4, taking doors. Yeah. These little half doors have always kind of gotten me. They're usually a fun place to find TCs, so those are good. Smart moves by taking them out.
Yeah, then they've basically gotten rid of everything. There it is. The TC has been found. C4 goes down. PvE bots are going to pick that one up. Watching his TC getting taken out in the last moment. They're going to send a second one in there for good measure as well. PvE bots will get the plus 40 there. That propels them up into third place. Only 5 points now behind Too Hot.
That was a great find by them. All right, we have another one. This is, oh, okay, we're going back to Share V.
Yeah, Share V and
Mleh.
Mleh.
This is Mleh space.
And it doesn't really seem like Sty have put too much into this either. I mean, there are still a few members hanging out outside, but currently it's all Share V inside of the base. They're inside of the shell. And this is a 3x3 core. They're going straight down through the doors. And I imagine it might actually be inside core.
Yeah, I didn't see much on the exterior. They're just going to find the loot. Hopefully there will be some more boom for what they're using. But we do see some garage doors. Could be in this room. No.
And the nice thing for, especially when it comes to these early raids, is that a lot of times, right, you're just going for the points. But if you're able to profit as well and get the sulfur and continue to be able to basically raid, it's so important for a team like Shervy, who put in a lot into this base currently. So if they can secure all the loot inside, aren't able to come in for the counter for the loot at the very least, this is a big win for Shervy.
Oh, absolutely. And we do see sometimes, like after somebody raids, there's still so much fight over that loot because after expending so much or maybe losing it because you died and somebody picked it up, it's nice to be able to find something in one of those boxes. You never know.
Finding stuff in the boxes is what Mle is actually struggling on. If you saw someone just respawn in and all he had, I believe, was a prototype to try and defend. If that doesn't mean you're on your last legs, I don't know what does. It might have actually been a sap. I didn't get a good look at it right now. You can see they are still struggling to find the rest of basically where this TC is, but they've basically gone through the entire course. So it does seem like maybe the TC is outside in the advent calendar walls.
I mean, it's always worth to go through the core. A lot of teams do not place a TC there anymore. But it's still, I mean, this is where the loot is, or this is where you can prevent somebody from coming down after you. It's just another focal point. And more garage doors.
And more garage doors. At some point, when do you get frustrated and you're just like, okay, we're just gonna bounty wipe this?
It does happen.
Yeah. Oh boy. Yeah, you can see just complete control lost over this space from Mle. There's almost no opportunity. It's just a matter of time. Yep. And there it is. Share V will be able to pick up the plus 40. That puts them at 5, or in the 5th place position currently, 28 points behind PvE bots, the last team we joined on, who took a TC.
Yeah, that was lucky for them that they were able to push back the other teams that was in the area. Now they can go ahead and loot. And then looks like the Stein members, looks like they've all left. So they have time to quick get that loot together and then possibly push out for another TC.
Yeah, this is actually interesting. I just noticed that for Share V, it's a combination of players actually from FXX, who are regular players, I believe, here for Base Invaders, along with Share V. So it looks like, maybe they just wanted to get a few more players on for NA. And so they just decided to join forces. Too hot, though. Changing together a 3rd raid for themselves. That's going to put them up into 1st place now. 228 points for them.
Man, they are moving along really quickly. It's amazing. And I believe they came in 4th in the EU tournament. So, I mean, great team members that I think these guys have worked together really well in the past.
I mean, they're definitely looking warmed up with the kind of pace that they've taken. I believe we started off the day with about 25 teams. We're already down to like 20, maybe 19 teams at this point. Yeah, take a look at all of those red names. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 squads have already been eliminated.
If we can get that under 10, I know several people who will be happy. It's always nice to have that nice, clean ending screen where you have to say a top 10 and then done.
Yeah, Gamu currently with 10 points for themselves. I'm wondering if they've just been defending a raid. Speaking of defending, it does seem like do have some fighting taking place out here. It's hard to tell who's raiding who, as it's just more positional fighting, but it's all going to be Pobita members outside of Goback's God's, or I guess Goba God's base right now, and they are just getting pummeled from the side. Might have been able to steal just a bit, but the raid platform is there for Pobita. Our U gang are showing up as well. It seems like they're setting up their own raid platform. And so they're going to be getting hit up from 2 separate angles here. But they do have a few members for Goba God to try and counter this. But they are losing foothold outside.
They really are. They moved out at a great time and have continued to push. Somebody needs to go out and take out those people rocketing, but other than that, I mean, they're in a position to be able to do so.
Yeah, I think Toxic will just spawn back in from the inside or from the outside as well. But you can see they have been able to basically get a look into the core of this base. They'll just continue to pummel. It doesn't seem like TC's on this side, and that might create an opportunity for RU Gang to try and pummel from their angle. They've even got that rooftop. I believe their base is just over there to the side. At this point, even some members of RU Gang actually pushing up in here.
Yeah, and you never know. I mean, those nice little triangles at the exterior, sometimes you get lucky and it just takes like a handful of rockets and voila, you've already gotten the TC. And you can steal a raid so easily by doing that. As long as you don't engage in a fight with the other team that's out raiding, there's always a good chance that you can get it.
Right now, for RU Gang, it looks like their aim is true. Their rockets are landing fairly in the same area as well. So they are coordinated on this push. They are starting to crack open the outer honeycomb as well. They haven't made the same kind of progress that Pobita have, but the difference is for Pobita, they have to deal with counters. They have to deal with Gobagod pushing out onto them and Turks coming in from behind.
Oh no. Yeah, that's gonna take them away and fight. And now they have to worry about Gobagods coming in.
It looks like another team actually showing up. That's going to be too hot coming in here. Take a look at the focus fire coming out from Team Turks. They all place down walls, and they are lasering this scrap heli down. I don't know if they even survive. You gotta kind of hope if you're too hot that you have something, some sort of HP left on this scrappy. They're going to go ahead and make an emergency landing here. And oh no, someone gets a wall down at least, but I don't know if they were able to survive.
Oh, that was a valiant effort, but they're all down. Oh no.
I'm wondering if they were coming back from a raid and, you know, they have all the raid loot on them. Someone needs to go check those bodies.
Yeah, that's definitely worth it because you don't know if they were possibly coming in to raid this base or if they're going home with loot. And so either way, somebody needs to go out there.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of the circumstance, you have to go check that, right? I mean, you see a launcher on someone's back as well, but great effort at least. They almost stuck the landing. Getting that wall down was impressive itself. Just having the presence of mind, right? Of being able to get that wall down just before you hit the ground at the very least. I would have been impressed if he like got the wall down and a bed down at the same time or something. So
yeah, be like,
maybe he just spawns back in on it.
Somebody would just be like, okay, I'm gonna place the wall, you place the back. It's like, let's get this done. You can get all the loot.
Yeah. And the thing is, they are out in the middle of nowhere. So those bodies could actually be secure. We'll see if anyone wants to try and put some focus onto that for right now. It seems like currently for everyone else, it's just this base. We have to take out Gobagod. They're in between 3-4 bases right now. We've already put some boom into this. Let's go ahead and finish this off.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they've already taken down one side. You know what's not on that wall. And this other group going after this unhit wall while RU Gang is also doing it. And you can imagine while like being a member of Gobagod in this game, you're being constantly rocketed. That means the base is shaking. It kind of disorients you if you're not used to it. And having to try to do repairs during that time is very difficult.
Yeah, that's right. You're not allowed to build, but you are able to replace walls that you had down before the attack phase took place. And so if you can try to get in and try to start seal, but the thing is, they've put a lot of effort in trying to push out, and now it's looking like, you know, they've kind of lost full control over this, and really all they can do is try and cower inside, hope that someone comes in and counters one side of the raid so you have an opening to push out somewhere, but things are looking extremely dire for Gobagod.
Yeah, this isn't the kind of place you want to find yourself in. It is nice when other teams show up, just for the fact that sometimes they'll distract the raiding team enough to where you don't have to worry about them rocketing, and it gives that builder a chance to go in there and do quick seals. While it might not be at full health, because but it'll stop that. They have to use that one extra rocket.
One extra rocket to slow things down at the very least. Maybe you can get a repair in. Now we are starting to see armored inside, but man, this core has been fully exposed. The only thing I think saving Gobagod right now is just that no one's really trying to push into Breach. It's going to be RU Gang, one of the first teams to start pushing in, and they want to try and have that early advantage. Get in, get the C4 down instead of just trying to pummel in from the side.
Yeah, and we see a whole bunch of doors that aren't closed, and they are able to make their way up. This is why it's so important to close your doors.
This is huge. Yeah, there are so many doors that are available for them, but they do have that kind of meta door hallway, right? That the TC can be behind any one of those doors. So that's going to have to dealt with at this point, but they have control right now. You can see the shooting floor just completely unavailable for the defenders.
It is. I mean, they have a great spot right now. And Pobeda is still shooting in rockets, hoping maybe to get a lucky PC.
It's not behind this door, but it's just a matter of time. I love that RU Gang were the ones to take first initiative. It was, I believe, Pobeda that started off this raid. RU Gang were the second to show up, and then we had Turks being the third team to actually get in here. RU Gang takes the initiative right now. They do have to be careful. Players coming in from behind, they should be able to get the res on to Terminator in just a moment, and they'll be able to continue. This is such a massive momentum shift for RU Gang on this raid.
It is. So he's up if he can heal. Got plenty of teammates to help. Ooh, nope, boom, gang's right there. Get your gun out.
Yeah, I'm surprised that in this in base invaders we're not seeing more of syringe reses and stuff like that to get players up at a healthier rate. But I know that in the action, when C4 is flying, when your screen's shaking, maybe you're not playing completely optimal. So I completely understand when that doesn't happen.
Oh yeah. And you don't know who's your teammate. That's why we see a lot of team shooting. Luckily, you can't do team damage. Oh, yeah. Which is, there would be way too many deaths. It wouldn't make it fun for anybody if there was.
Oh, try to raid this if you took friendly fire from the X-Flow would be impossible. Which is why I appreciate that, friendly fire is turned off on the X-Flow, because it just accelerates the pace of these raids by so much.
Oh yeah, we don't want to be sitting here for like 45 minutes on one raid and go, okay, off to the next. Okay, game's over.
All right, it looks like we do have an issue with the server, unfortunately. Hopefully we can get back in. We'll find out in just a moment. So thank you all so much for sticking with us as we deal with a lot of technical issues. But it's as we're trying to iterate, as we're trying to improve and really get this thing going. There are going to be some issues, but we do thank you for your patience with us right now. This is Rustoria's Base Invaders, sponsored by Rusty Pot. If you want to support us even more, make sure you check out rustypot.com. They have been big contributors in allowing us to make this all happen.
Absolutely. And if you ever want to, if you're watching this and you're like, that looks like so much fun, or even I can do better than that, or I'm a better builder than that, do Discord and join. If you don't have a full team, I mean, we do different sizes each week. Sometimes it's 3v3, sometimes it goes all the way up to 9v9s. Those are a little bit more rare, but still, if you don't have that many teams, find a 3v3. You can go play as a solo. Or you can there's certain channels that you can go and find a team. Maybe they're just looking for somebody, they need a builder. They can handle all the PvP, but you're really fast. It's worth it to do it, and it's so much fun.
Yeah, last week I believe we were on the 8v8 or no 7v7 meta, and that was incredibly fast as well. The bases that people were able to get up was just incredible. But here we go, we're back on in. It looks like a lot of the players are in as well currently. It's looking rough. Yeah, Gobagod will get taken out, and that's why it's so important to be able to push into the breach. RU Gang getting in there with the C4, surgically taking apart the base instead of trying to pummel in from the side. That's going to be a huge take for them. That puts them in the second place now. Gobagod, who were in the top 10, are knocked out.
I mean, they put up a valiant effort. I mean, they pushed out. They tried to do everything else. But when the multiple teams started coming, they just had to stay inside, and that was unfortunate for them. And RU Gang took advantage.
Yeah, there's very little you can do, especially with how it worked out, right? Because RU Gang, Pobeda, and Turks all came from different angles, and while they were kind of taking shots at each other here or there, they didn't really have to engage upon each other. It was just once you were inside the base, once you actually pushed into the breach, that's where some of the chaos would be created for Gobagod. But for the most
Mhm.
part, no one wanted to push in. RU Gang basically had full control over that. We're able to get in. Now it's about who's going to be able to walk away with this loot. We didn't really see Gobagod actually raiding out, so there might be a lot of spoils left inside this base.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see many boxes, and so up here on the top, there's probably so much to find, and that's what, looks like they are doing currently. They're
This
just
is
keeping
this is the
Turks
point in the
away.
raid where I get overwhelmed by how much loot there is. I'm like, guys, I don't know what to do. What do I take? I have like all armor wood in my inventory when there's food, you know?
It's that mentality of, like, when you're in a server and you're just like, "Oh my god, look at all the components." And you're just like, you grab all those and you're like, "No, grab the boom." But but the tech trash.
But look at all these metal blades.
Look at all the pipes. We could make so many rockets. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
we
does
also need
become
the
that way.
sulfur for that, Jamerson. Yeah, you're right. Oh man, it does
Yeah.
look like, unfortunately, for our U gang, even though they got the raid, they're not going to get the raid loot. But hey, they got the points. There's still an hour and 2 minutes remaining. If they need to farm up a little, maybe farm a little sulfur, they can go right back on out for more raids.
Yeah, and they did get a couple more raids, and they were able to go through this a lot without actually um, having to use much boot. That really is beneficial to them if they were able to actually make it out with what they brought in. I mean, that could work for them.
Oh, importantly as well, remember, Too Hot, they were the team that was in that scrappy that flew by. Their loot
Hmm.
dropped on the RU gang side. So, regardless, whether they were going raiding or whether they were coming back from the raid, Too Hot left 3 bodies full of loot out there on the RU gang side. They might have been able to pick that one up. Right now, F9, they have been getting raided by a few members or a few teams for some time now. It looks like DFDF and Sty are here. Sty might have been able to counter this one. You can see DFDEF members actually running back from bags. So things are looking dire for them. It looks like Sty might have been able to steal this one away.
Yeah, and they're starting to use the rockets, but now they have to watch out, make sure there's no kits left on the ground, guns left on the ground, or those nakeds running back to pick up and use against them.
Yeah, look at that raid platform. You have to imagine there were bags or beds there, and that is gone now. So Sty have been able to take this one away. F9 members are still in. They do have some lockers upstairs, so possibly some kits for them to try and defend. And it's only coming from one side. So at some point, you can see F9 members are already trying to make an effort to try and push out.
Yeah, it looks like they're getting rid of some of the walls, making Sty back up, maybe not shoot out some rockets, and stay away from their breach, maybe while another member goes and puts up a wall like you just did.
Yeah. Manistor was able to get that one down. Pablo on the gate side dropped down to 9 HP, but they're getting a patchwork seal down here. Pablo has been finished, or actually down on the ground, and it's not the cleanest. It's not the cleanest, but they are getting the compound back on down, and it looks like they've got the seal.
That's a great job by them. And now maybe the builder can come in and do a few more repairs, and then get those more walls up, and hopefully force the next team that come push on them start all over again.
Yeah, it's not a perfect seal. It looks like there is an opening to get in from that gate, but like you said, just the fact that you're able to push out, get the walls down, means that you have some control over this raid once again. And yeah, um, I don't think I don't think we have to worry about like the funneling rule when it comes to putting down walls because this was an attempt to try and seal your base, and so now they're having to deal with whatever the hell this is. We've seen from the beginning of the day just teams struggling with their compound, but this is an understandable reason why.
Yeah, because you see the other walls that were like spam placed probably mid fight, and that kind of messed up their flow and the nice little round gate.
Yeah, Sty aren't done though. They're gonna try and get back on in, but like you said, Blast. I mean, someone needs to get up there with a hammer and with a building plan and start sealing if they could. I'm wondering if they're just kind of struggling to find where the materials are. But also, Sty are trying to deal with trying to get a raid platform down or try to reestablish themselves. DFDF members are coming up behind them now.
Yeah, and it does look like a few of them may have some kits, so they've now become a danger to these guys, and they're setting up their own platform with Nikita.
All right, let's take a look at what's going on with Share V rocketing from their roof currently onto Team RNC. I only see 3 members of RNC at base currently, so I'm wondering how many of them are on bag timer right now. We did get to see Share V take a TC earlier on, and now it looks like they have their second target actually boom over in their base currently. I'm wondering if someone just misfired their rocket and hit themselves. No, it's just roof to roof rocket PvP currently.
All right. Well, I mean, this keeps this. I will say the one benefit to doing like the rocket or like being up on the roof is you're preventing the other team from covering ground. So like it allows either side to push out and possibly enter in somebody else's compound if you have already broken through.
He
This I'm
thought
not
he had a
sure.
rocket in there. It was actually an HV, so that one's gonna go long. Jeremy actually kind of being surgical with this. They're taking out the
Yeah.
turrets on the roof, so there's an opportunity for them to actually come in with the heli. I believe there's only 1 turret basically left in this base. Remember, here in Base Invaders, you're only allowed 3 turrets total, and 2 of them have been taken out on the RNC base.
Yeah, those are some really great rockets. And it's really beneficial. And if they do have that scrappy or to go over there and engage and like just secure that roof access. I mean, there's probably some loot and boom up there, and then you're controlling it from that, and then you could actually help with anybody who's spawning on bags from the outside.
Yeah, they haven't put too much work yet onto the roof walls yet, but as soon as they do and have that kind of free angle in there, it might be free for them. Now on board with DJ currently. I'm surprised they survived. Big Kahuna, I believe, have been trying to raid them since the beginning of the raid phase. And they've bought so much time that another team has shown up. PvE bots are here. They've got their raid platform and all 6 heads down, and they are starting to boom in from the side.
Oh, absolutely. And I can imagine Big Kahuna is now going to move out. Hopefully, it's to focus on raiding, but they may just engage in straight people saying like, "No, this is mine."
We have 1 DJ member here or excuse me, I thought I saw a DFDF member here, kind of scouting things out as well. For DFDF, they're currently in 3rd place, down by about 70 points to 2 hot, so they do have a number of raids that they'll need to try and catch up with our 1st place team. RU Gang is currently the closest team right now, off by about 34 points or so, 44 points there. So they are within range with 1 DC. Take a look at the speed of this raid right now.
Hmm. It's amazing to have this many people with rockets going. It can open up a base so quickly, and if the team is set up properly, I mean, they've lost half their shooting floor. He's had to jump down to come back in. I mean, it's fun to watch.
Yeah, they've basically taken out half this side of the base. If they can get a splash a little bit lower and continue to work on those hallways, you can see PvE starting to push on up. They haven't breached the gate quite yet, but it's just been a slow kind of trickle up to try and get closer and closer and make their way on in. There was some defense coming up from DJ. You can see they still have their roof control. They still have the ability to shoot down on them, which is the one thing that's slowing down PvE bots.
It is. They are trying to get rid of the walls currently, so they need to replace some more or take care of whoever's on before pushing farther.
1 final member remaining out here for DJ. It's going to be Elijah. He's up against about 3 or 4 members who saw him spot us, who were able to spot him pushing on out. So PvE bots have been able to deal with that threat. They're going to go ahead and continue to boom in from the side. Big Kahuna is still on that hillside, not taking the opportunity at this point to try and push on down. I'm wondering what happened to them. They have 3 or 4 members still at base currently, while they need to get involved in this raid.
Yeah, we see Bagul looks like a scrap. Well, there's a scrappy coming. I don't know if that's. Oh no. Somebody else gonna be joining the fight, or are they returning? I know
Okay,
they're
that is
returning
going to
home.
be Big Kahuna. So while they're dealing with that, maybe they have an idea to just try and go in from the roof. They haven't dealt with the turrets up here. It looks like the turrets are still up and healthy for DJ, so this could be a little bit scary for them to try and go in from the roof.
Oh yeah. And then they have their spawns up there, so it's a great spot for DJ to stay.
Now we do have two members of Big Kahuna now, starting to make some presence, and um, they're kind of lurking out here. They do have a breach on this side of the base to try and go in, and they do have it looks like some doors down as well. So maybe they just go in for a sneaky mission with some C4, try to get that TC early on.
And we have Friedrich on the outside with DJ, and I thought he was maybe on the inside of that base, but ooh, and Can was eliminated by Too Hot, so that just pushed them even higher ahead in the
What is that, like their fourth TC at
fourth
this
or
point?
fifth. I don't
They
even know
have
anymore.
It's been so fast for them. I mean, there's so many raids going on right now. There's still plenty of teams alive here with 52 minutes remaining. So it's hard to keep up with everything, but Too Hot currently. Basically a 2 TC lead over second place. That's going to be RU Gang, 80 points below them. 85? Yeah, 85 points below them. And then just behind RU Gang is going to be DFDF, only off by about 6 points.
Yeah, and the damage that they're doing right now, if they can get a few more of these walls and structures down, some of the roof and the turrets are going to be taken care of naturally.
Oh yeah, you can see one exposed right there, and it's barely hanging on that triangle as well. So it's just a matter of time for that to go down, and that's actually big. That creates if the turrets go down, that's gonna allow Big Tuna actually to fly in with their Scrappy if they want to. But it looks like they're gonna actually flip this one right now. They do have about half their team currently on the outside of this, but they're not making any headway in terms of boom.
Yeah, it looks like PvE bot has lost some of their beds. I don't know if they ran out of walls or what's going on, but from the people on the roof, they were able to knock out a few of them. Oh, TC!
Ooh, wow. PvE bots were finally able to get it. Big Kahuna boys, even though they were inside, they just were not as fast. It looked like it was a nice rocket sniping. So that's going to be a big takeaway. Big Kahuna, this was their opportunity, right? I believe they were trying to work on DJ's base from the beginning, essentially. Now, their one, I think, moral victory that they can take away is possibly taking away the loot from this raid. And take a look at Too Hot. They are already on their next base, BlastRites.
Jeez. They not taking any downtime. It's like, anybody needs a breather? Nah, let's go to the next.
Yeah, Can now onto land. They are on to their next base. They have breach. They should be able to push up. We do have High Pro outside, and so he's going to try and defend, but for the time being, Too Hot can just go ahead and continue to pummel. They've done some decent work already on the outer shell and starting to make their way now through the honeycomb.
Yeah, opening up that compound and seeing what type of base it's going to be. They already have a door down there, taking out shooting floor. I mean, they're kind of shooting. It seems like they're shooting everywhere at the moment, but I'm sure there's some strategy to get that done.
One person out in the compound right now. One person just went down as well. So this is a huge opportunity for them if they want to just push in. But I think for Too Hot right now, they must have so much boom. You have to remember how many bases they took early on. Bases that weren't able to use their explode themselves. So this is kind of like the snowball effect when you get that first early raid.
It does help. You're already in a great mindset. You've gotten even more loot, and just making those smart decisions. And they've just kept making the right decisions over and after.
Oh, we have the first member of Too Hot actually pushing into the breach. He does end up surviving that fight. And now he is inside of their base. He is inside of their shooting floor. They're struggling to try and find him. He's right there in the peak downs, and I don't know if they were able to find him quite yet, but this is such a huge issue to deal with. Not only are you getting pummeled from the outside, someone is inside. That's going to be Joggy Bog. Bro, excuse me, with the C4
Yogi.
down on all these doors.
He is known to just go in by himself, and he does a lot of damage when he does move.
He's taking out an entire floor of doors at this point. So yeah, he is incredibly fast. Now he's gonna make his way on down. You have to imagine after this. Oh, did he just end up running out of C4?
He might have, but if you looked at that other team or behind that door, somebody despawned some of the loot. Maybe somebody else made it in. to the base, and a lot of teams they'll do is they just don't want the other team to get boom, so they'll just drop it on the ground and lock and close the door. It's just a quick way to make sure that people raiding can have access to it. Unfortunately, Yogi opened up that area really quick, and it's now exposed.
There's 3 more floors of doors still available that they have to work their way on through. Oh my goodness, Yogi is just destroying right now all over this shooting floor. If he just gets a little bit of help, instead of having to control this entire floor by himself, he could put in a lot more work. It looks like he was able to find that extra boom that you were talking about. Junkie is trying to chase him down, but Yogi is just a one-man army. He does somehow, and did he actually end up surviving that?
Yes, he did.
Oh my god.
He's a beast right now. There is a turret down in that hallway, and that could be one of those things. Is like he was like, "Oh no, that's a bad spot."
Yeah. If he has some HPs on him, maybe he can deal with it. It's really unfortunate trying to deal with a turret with C4s. Like the amount of times I've missed a turret with C4, yeah, you don't want to do that. But he's continuing to just go ahead and throw the boom down.
Yeah, it looks like he may have been taken care of. Yeah, looks like Junkie was able to go after him. So he was cleared out from the base, but they're still outside. So if he can get a couple more teammates to actually watch his back while he's in there booming, that was perfect. I mean, he was able to get the floor plan, talk to his teammates, and go, hey, it's this style base. This is what we need. Okay, this is what we'll have to do.
All right, now we're joining on board with Pobita. It looks like their compound has been cracked open, but they have pushed out. And you can see the raid platform has been cleared, so this could be a raid defense coming out from Pobita, and a relatively easy seal for them. Only one side of the base really getting cracked open there. So nice job coming out from Pobita. They just need to seal up that side of the breach. RU gang, a lot of teams currently in the area.
Yeah, and it's great for them. I mean, if you do push back those defenders, even if you're being raided, you're earning points. So as long as you're able to push them back at some point, I mean, at any time, you're only allowed to earn up to 40 points. So it depends on how long the raid goes. If you're able to push back, that timer stops. But if those raiders are still coming back, it starts up again. So you have more points to earn. So I've seen people win these tournaments and they barely were able to leave their base because they were constantly pushing back the defenders and earning points that way.
Yeah, you have to remember the PvE kills, or excuse me, PvP kills as well do count towards all of this. F9 were finally eliminated by DFDF. We saw that, oh man, I want to say about 20 minutes ago. So that was just a really long, drawn-out fight for them. Team Turks, though, the team on the hill, getting raided now by Gamu. We see a few members inside while the pummel is taking place from the outside.
Yeah, there is a slight breach in the compound, but oh my god, the damage being done.
Yeah, they have already cracked their way into core, completely taking out the roof. I'm surprised that they're still aiming so high, and they have to deal with so much honeycomb on the outside. You can see some members of Turks trying to push out, but take a look at the walls. It looks like they have a whole base of their own, basically, outside of the Turks' base. We do have Turk himself, the man of the name, trying to push out onto this raid platform currently.
Yeah. And so you can't fully enclose yourself into like that. Admins may need to take care of that one.
Yeah, we were talking about the funneling rule earlier on when you're putting down your down your walls. It can't be just one point of access in and out of your raid platform, or you can't even wall yourself in like Yakute has done. I don't know if that was just like a panic and he didn't realize and he ended up doing it, but I mean, take a look at how almost of a perfect square that is.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Hopefully some of the admins, now with the less amount of teams, an admin is probably watching and can go and get rid of one of the walls or take care of it. But yeah, cute.
You know
stop
what you
being
did.
cute. Stop being cute. Get yourself out of that mess.
Yeah. That's when when you find your dog has like destroyed the bathroom. That's your cute right there.
It's like he knows what he did. He knows what he did.
But that's one player out from trying to defend the raid platform. That's Turks taking full control over this now. And so they will get the raid defense. They will be able to take all this, whatever raid loot is left inside those boxes. So that's a nice big win for Team Turks.
Oh, absolutely. That was a great defense. And Yakut is still stuck in there.
I'm
Oh, I
sorry.
just go throw some C4 on there and take him out. Oh,
Oh.
no, he's still trying to. No, you can't do that. He's just despawning all the loot. Here, take him out. There you go. Yeah, he was trying to just despawn. That's kind of a, meh. You're not really supposed to be doing that. Like, I mean, despawning is fine. It's part of the game. But blocking yourself in like that is definitely a big no-no.
Yeah. Now on board once again with Too Hot, finishing off another raid of their own. For 406, they were getting the last of the loot actually on that one. RNC versus Sheriff V, and this side of RNC's base has taken so much damage. Or at least this is mostly just the shooting floor and outer honeycomb for them. And we saw, yeah, they were trying to deal with RNC. It looked like at some point they were trying to push up, but somehow the momentum got away from them, and now they are on the wrong side of this roof raid, basically. And we have, I believe, one more team coming up behind them, and so things are looking a little bit scary for Sure V.
Yeah, it looks like a member of DFDFD is maybe taking a peek at this, maybe gathering some loot from a despawned base. But RNC, there are some great members, so great teammates, and so they're just engaging in some PvP at the moment on the outside of their base. And Shervy should be using this time to repair. But looks like they're keeping RNC back, so it's a nice move for them.
Yeah, RNC are basically just all stuck inside their base. Kai8 is the only one outside right now. As we join on board with Big Kahuna, PvE bots have turned their eyes on them. Remember, they just finished the raid, I forget against which team, just down the hill. And that entire time, Big Kahuna bots really didn't do much. They did ultimately push out at the end and tried to make their way into the base. But you can see now PvE bots are right inside.
Yeah, once they finished with DJ, they were probably able to get all the boom from that base, and let's just keep going.
They're pulling from the outside, and they got C4 from the inside as well. So it's an inside job from PvE bots. I don't know how RAR was able to just get inside of here, but you can see Big Kahuna have lost control of their base. They're all spawning up top on the roof. They're not even going to have the angles to be able to peek out because a lot of that roof has been taken out.
And here he sees it's the hidden honeycomb advent kind of doors, and so he's doing so much damage by himself. It's really kind of scary.
It feels like, you know, it's so hard to tell that you're actually being boomed from the inside, because he's even rocketing from inside now. These 3 doors there, he's gonna get so much value, pushes it into core, and he does still have a lot of doors to deal with. Again, it's so hard for them to be able to tell that he's inside. Finally, there's confirmation. Hey, there's someone inside. We need to deal with this guy.
Yeah, that's one of the great things about the coordinating team and having experience to do that. It's like if you can get one person just to be the sneaky person, go inside, do more damage, it's so advantageous for these guys.
Ooh, there's even beds for him to take out as well. So, just so much work. Surprised that he's not actually going after it, just going after the speed instead. He knows that he's actually put a few people on timer as well, so that could be one of the reasons why. And he is continuing to just be a one-man army on the inside.
It's really smart game sense. It's like you're listening to footsteps, you're listening to doors opening, and that way you can tell if it's a friend or foe. And it's the communication with your teammates too. That helps so much. Be like, hey, I'm moving in. Okay, cool. But the fact that he's covering all of this.
Oh no! Did Bagul end up taking him out? Finally, someone deals with him, but it was basically a 50-50 fight at that point. And they do end up dealing with him, but not before the damage is done. So much of the core has been exposed, and we get a nice little shot of the troublemaker, the rascal himself.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. I was like, why is it out? But the angle, and he may have been low on health as well.
Oh yeah, I didn't see him heal once. It looked like he was just running around, just living his last life, understanding that, you know, this is my one opportunity, and he's right back on in there. We'll see if he's got the maybe ladders to get back in where he was. They did end up getting all of his loot. It looks like a good effort from the defense, actually. We saw some rockets coming out from the rooftop, dealing with possibly the raid platform, but oh, he's got his loot.
Oh. Bagul didn't, see, that's one of those things that's like, loot, grab the important stuff, grab the gun. You don't want a naked running in there, and all of a sudden, now they have everything.
They ended up closing a door on him, and so they'll have a little bit more safety in the shooting floor. Doesn't look like he does. He doesn't have any more boom, and so that might have been what they ended up taking. Just getting all the boom off of him, get it secured inside. But what does secure mean when so much of your core is open? Two members not ready for this. He almost gets the 2v1. He will ultimately go down, but he should be able to back right back on in.
Yeah. And we have another teammate that's pushing in now. So it's fun to watch. I mean, they're still not getting a lot of pressure. The boom seems to have slowed down quite a bit. And it looks like Big Kahuna is now probably taking out raid beds or walls.
They do have 3 members of PvE bots in here, though, and I think, you know, one of the things that kind of worked against PvE bots was that Rar just ended up running out of boom on the inside. He was down to rockets, and that does slow you down a bit, and so they're just sending the rest of their members in. You have to imagine with possibly the last of their boom, they're coming down to the last 35 minutes of this raid, and this is where, you know, teams start running out of gas, where they literally just don't have any more boom. Hopefully they got a lot more from that first space that they were able to raid before they moved on from here. There it is, the C4 going down on the doors.
Yep, once the C4 goes down, we could go take a peek. We try not to give any hints about where a TC may be, but occasionally, like, accidents happen. Flying around is hard. If you haven't ever tried it, go be an admin on a server and try to fly. I tried it once, and I was like, dang. So props to Gigi and all of our other observers being able to smoothly keep track of all this stuff.
Yeah, and especially in bases like this, where it's just hallways upon hallways, doorways upon doorways. Right now, that was all PvE bots, full control over this top floor. The roof might be inaccessible to the defenders as well. It's all PvE bots basically just controlling this base.
It really is. He's going to take care of the guy that killed his teammate or downed his teammate, and maybe get back up there to help.
We're seeing Kahunas having to spawn their outside backs. So much of their beds have been dealt with on the inside. There's a few more here, but you can see that they're not really concerned about that because they know that, hey, there's no there are no lockers around, there's no boxes, so these beds inconsequential. They're not going to be able to re-up, and so they're not really going to be able to fight. The best thing they can do is possibly close some doors, but what are doors in the face of all this C4?
Yeah, all this C4 is yeah, it's not going to hold up to much, but you could possibly get in, get a kill. It's one of those, with how many guns and stuff are usually left on the ground after fights. I mean, most of the time they're not worried about picking up that extra gun. It's going to take away time for you. And then also, if you do have a teammate coming back in naked, it's an easy weapon to pick up.
Now there are just less and less doors here. PvE bots are getting their way into the main core of this space, but they still have to deal with so much. You can see, it looks like they're going to get all of them together, going to splash through some of these doors as well. And with 34 minutes, I'm surprised no counters this way. This has been largely just free for PvE bots.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of an isolated area. The Big Kahuna and DJ were like only fighting each other because that was all that was there. So that's one of the problems of isolating yourself, is you don't get those counters to give you a chance to fix something, repair something, push back the people that are actually in your base.
Right now, it just looks like it's a matter of time. It's just full, complete, free reign for PvE bots. You can see they're continuing to just rocket in from the inside. Wondering if they're just running out of C4. They think it's just faster to go ahead and rocket to get those doors out. There are a lot of doors right next to each other as well, but every single floor of this base is basically controlled now by PvE bots.
Yeah, they do definitely have control of those big units. Gonna be having a hard time continuing this raid. I mean, I don't know if they have access to any of the guns. Oh, and if they do happen to get up there, they're taken out very quickly.
Oh, a little bit too late to try and go for that trade. He had the info knowing that Mega was at least on this side, but man, getting that 2v1, that's gonna be nice. Put them on timer once more, and he gets to continue to move.
Yep, Mega is continuing to rocket and get splash damage done. Oh, very nicely done. Sneaky. And that's one of the problems. Like you find that just a gun left on the ground. If that one bed hasn't been taken care of, somebody can come in and sneak up on you.
Let's see. We have basically the entire Big Kahuna squad up top on the roof because that's basically the only spawns that they have remaining. But you mentioned it before, Blast, that they were doing a great job of just clearing the raid platforms. So you can see the reinforcements of PvE bots have slowed down. This might actually be a raid defense.
Yeah, if they can push back all the members of PvE out of their radius for just a little while and no damage is being done to the base, it's a great defense.
Things were looking dire for them. Not gonna lie, I thought it
Yeah.
was just a matter of time. But just having that one player have that presence of mind to be like, hey, just deal with their beds, get rid of their beds. That's all you need to do sometimes in a raid. And so that was a good job from them. For Team Sty, though, they are currently getting raided by DF right now. They are inside of their inner peak downs. You just need to deal with all of these doors.
Yeah, DFDF really needs to get this. I mean, they are within getting first place if they're able to get this done. But we don't know. We haven't seen Too Hot, and Too Hot could already be at another base trying to raid because
Yeah.
they don't seem to slow down.
They have not at all. They are at a nice number, 420. Good for them. DFDF though, like you said, only 28 points behind. That is one TC, or even if they just wanted to basically just roam raid or roam PvP, that could catch them up as well. There are multiple ways to approach this, but getting the lead, getting this TC would be absolutely massive. Deep roof control for them as well. You can see one player up top just controlling for them while the rest of the DFDF members are just laying waste to the space.
It's very nicely done. We have RNC and Sherby still going at each other, and Too Hot. Yep, they've moved on. They've still at LAN. So that's interesting for them.
Yeah, I mean, take a look at the presence of the land members. Two members are outside, actually, pushing out onto Too Hot's raid platform. You can see it is behind a few more layers of walls, but I don't actually see the beds there. I don't know if it's render distance or what, but now actually almost the entirety of LAN are out here. So Too Hot, I don't know exactly what happened to their raid, but things are looking really bad for them.
Yeah, they've definitely stalled out. I don't know if maybe somebody had to return home and bring back some more boom, or if it's just the fighting that got too much for them. And it looks like LAN has just been able to push them back, maybe get rid of the walls. You look at that big open expanse, and they're having to use those sideways to get back up to the base if they need to.
Yeah. Four members of Too Hot are still here for them, and they've largely dealt with the push out coming out from land. There are still two members outside, one of them bleeding out, I think, on the ground. Dop pushing up against Darude, but he will be able to get his teammate back on up. And so this is an incredibly important pickup here. He just needs to heal up. And now they still have the presence on the outside. Too Hot under pressure now, but they are starting to get looted back up into things.
Yeah, this is one of the great things about being able to push out to get a defense. It's like it stops the rockets. It takes so long to transfer to switch out the rocket to a gun that it's impossible when somebody's actually coming out in a fight.
Yeah, and importantly, it doesn't look like too much damage was actually done to the land base. So the seal will be incredibly easy for them. It does look like one rocket, maybe some C4 were tossed in there. Or yeah, it had to have just been rockets actually. So they're gonna try and continue to get some damage down to continue this raid. But land still have some presence out here. Flicker is there. Got Rot coming out from the right-hand side as well. Darude, though, is able to instantly deal with him on that peak, and Too Hot have been able to basically reestablish control over this raid.
That's great for them. We'll probably come back and check on them if they don't just immediately like grab it while we're gone, like they have been.
Yeah, so many times we've seen the rocket snipe onto a TC. Now here for Pobita, looks like RU Gang were trying to put some work on their base, and it does look like it has suffered some damage at the very least, but Pobita still maintaining control right now. Only one member of RU Gang is out here. That's going to be Mongol himself. Looks like the raid base might have been off where Uzbek currently is, and that platform has been dealt with. No, no, no. It looks like
Yeah.
multiple attempts actually on this base.
Yeah, the wall coverage, it looks like everybody's running short on those and they're starting to despawn, which is opening up easy shots to destroy those beds. And try to get some repairs done.
And they are successful at it. It looks like Pobito are actually possibly getting attacked from multiple angles. We even have that twig platform off to the side, so possibly another defense coming out from them, just being able to put a quick stop to that one. At this point, we do have V-Kid in the shooting floor right now, dealing with the RU Gang squad. And at some point, where do you call it if you're RU Gang when your raid just ends up stalling out like this?
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to tell yourself to quit. Like you already put so much boom and everything else at a base, and you get those players that are so heated. They're like, "No, we're gonna do this. We're gonna finish this," but that can be to your detriment sometimes. So seeing whenever to call back and just go, "No, let's go try after something else." Um, it's a call that has to be made, and sometimes it's heartbreaking for these guys. But it looks like they're not ready to give up yet. So. But I don't know. They only have 27 minutes. So it might be the call just to stick it out rather than return home, waste that extra time getting more boom, getting it all together, and then trying to find a raid and maybe get 10 minutes on it.
Oh, Bobita is trying to actually lose out on control on this as well. And so, yeah, that tenacity that you talked about, it might actually be working out for them. The rockets are flying once again, and this side is getting pummeled. Throughout all of this, though, DFDF were able to complete their raid, and that puts them in the lead, 10 points above Too Hot. This might come down to the final PvP kills to see who ends up out on top.
Yeah, that's always fun. And then we do have those extra, I believe, 10 points to whoever is standing. Like the extra little win. Same with the attack phase. Whoever's the lead gets a little extra. That's why the PvP section is so important, and it's the same with raid.
Yeah. RU Gang, they need this as well because they're currently about 100 points off, 102 points off from DFDF. So not only do they need this TC, they need a second one or a large handful of PvP kills. So they know that they have to actually start raiding with urgency, and so they're just going to C4 it into Armored Core.
Okay. They're not playing around.
They will be able to get this, but at what cost? Well, a lot of C4. There we go, one final one. This should do it at this point, and this is a Hail Mary play, honestly, to hope that it's possibly behind this wall.
Nope. But it does open it up to doors.
Yeah, that's what you don't want to see, though. You expend all that C4 and it's armored door behind it as well. So, that was a big Hail Mary play for them. And now Bobita, they're going to try and control the inside of their base. Mongol it looks like stuck inside, might not have any ladders to get out. And yeah, that is the case, Mongol.
Did you use all your boom and now you're stuck? It's like, help me.
He has a launcher on his back, but I'm wondering if he's just afraid to go for the boom.
Yeah, it would call attention to where he is. Maybe he's hoping his teammates would come in there. Yeah, because even the sound of the ladder. Oh, well, now you just gave yourself away.
Gonna C4 through walls once again. And Hollow's trying to find him. There we go. He'll spot him out, and that's what you were worried about. Giving away your position, and whatever boom he had on him, that's going to go straight into the hands of Pobita. They have control over the compound now. That was the only person in the breach, and so Pobita have an opportunity to try and maybe seal up here. Back on board with Kahuna. Looks like PvE bots are still at it. They don't have the raid platform, but they do have at least a lot of walls to try and make their way up this hill. But again, the positioning out of Big Kahuna's base here, it's really working out into their favor. Having that height advantage, having an easy angle onto any kind of raid platform in their way.
Yeah, and we have Doe coming in from the backside. It looks like he may be naked. I'm not sure if he's kitted up. But he's trying to work around to the backside. Which, I mean, is a great move for him, but I think they'd probably be aware that he's... Oh, no, they haven't not spotted him.
Oh, this is a little bit scary. They do spot out a ghoul, but the flank out from Doe drops one low, 23 HP. He'll be able to survive, get a med kit off at the very least, stops the bleeding there. And that is Nice little pickup for him. Actually starting to draw away the attentions from the people that were trying to push up onto that compound. That's going to create some more space. Tips to aim, pushing up through the walls right now. He's able to take out one. Now, if he can trade for death there, but you can see Raw is going to push up, take him out. This is a huge fight on the outside, but it's largely going in the favor of Kahuna. Remember, they have the respawn advantage. They have the bed advantage to basically play off of here.
Yeah, their base hasn't taken enough damage inside. So they're able to respawn in there, but it looks like they've placed so many bags, especially with their fight with DJ earlier. They already had all the respawns that they could get. It's like trying to push their way up still, but Big Kahuna, like, there's even more people pushing out now.
Yeah, Doe is out there. He's going to deal with Jelinov. You got Mega and Death to try and respond to that push from the left side. And yeah, the 2v1 spray down onto him. You can see that DFDF now are starting to rear their ugly heads over here. You got Batman coming in from the long flank. Mahmud is here as well. So this might be the next target. And finally, Too Hot are able to deal with that raid. They've been on that land base for the last 20 minutes, but that is a crucial TC for them to be able to pick up.
Yep, now back in first place, but it's still within DFDS range. And it does look like they have now found a target, whereas Too Hot has to go find somebody else to go pick on.
For Share V versus RNC here, this is the never-ending battle between these two bases. DFDF, though, they've been able to fly back, it looks like, with the Scrappy. So they're moving on for their next raid, it seems. They don't even want to deal with this. They're allowing these two bases to go after each other, and they feel safe in that regard that they can leave their base with two active bases right next to them because they have been so hard-headed in dealing with each other over here.
True. And DJ Boy in chat, yes, we do try to read chat. Fun things that we do miss some things, but we do have our other two answer. We'll try to get around to you, but like, let us know if there's a team that you want to see. But we are on a 5-minute delay, so there's a delay between us responding back to you guys.
Yeah, the delay is pretty hard to deal with. For Pobita, wow, yeah, that's a nice little rocket there into nowhere.
I'm gonna say that's out of range.
Yeah, just slightly, just slightly. These aren't quite MLRSs, but I like the effort at least, I guess.
Maybe just despawning some of the rockets that they found.
Yeah, it very well could be. They're getting closer though.
Are you trying to pick on RU Gang and draw their attention back to you? Or are you just taunting?
I think they are taunting because they did ultimately get the defense in this raid up against RU Gang here. So with 20 minutes left to go and how much you had to defend, things look good for them until Gamu shows up with the Scrappy and they are ready. Oh my gosh, we haven't seen Gamu in quite some time either. We saw them regroup after basically getting pushed out from a raid, right? I forget which base that they were on. And they've been gone for a while, so 20 minutes of farming or 10 minutes of farming or something, they are ready to go.
Yep, and looks like they've been able to restock. They have plenty of walls, probably bought a whole bunch of boom. But I'm assuming as soon as they start doing this, RU Gang is going to push back out again.
I'm wondering if anyone on, like, we do have Hollow up top for Pobita, but they might not have spotted them out because they were, of course, kind of looking over on the other way. But now they have to be prepared for this next raid. They haven't even sealed the walls, the compound yet on this side. You have a complete buildup. V-Kid is not aware of Gamu coming in from behind. I saw a lot of rocket launchers on the backs of these players as well, so they are ready to pummel.
Yeah, cute. Don't you be cute. Stop it.
I mean, I guess this counts as 2 points of access.
Yeah, so... there's 3. He's good.
Yeah, he's good.
As long as he doesn't place that other one.
Yeah. Take a look at how far that they were able to get up onto this base without anyone from Pobita being aware. Now they're getting rocketed and they have to respond. This is going to create another window, maybe for RU Gang to come back.
Oh, absolutely. And with Pobita getting rid of all those rockets, it's kind of unfortunate because now they could have used it against this raid.
This is like old school rocket meta. From the pace of it, it sounds like most of their players have 2, maybe 3 launchers on their back. Because that was a huge volley of maybe 20 rockets in the span of just a few seconds.
Oh, absolutely. It pummels them. It's a blitz on it. It's so nice to see that happen. It's like that's what you want. Is you want them like have those shooting floor go down. Look at that roof that it's gone now. And if you keep pummeling in this area, their respawns, that their roofs are going around the other side. I mean, it's a great job, and it's so hard to defend that.
Wow, this is 40 rockets essentially already going into the side of the base. But you can see why the metal is there. They've got armored as well. Uzbek dropping down into the compound itself to try and maybe push out to help out Beamer there. They do have 2 members down here, but take a look at all these rockets. It keeps coming in. Gamu with the snipe in less than, what, 30 seconds? They arrive in their scrappy and they take it out.
That was amazing. I bet RU Gang is so upset about that.
Oh man, look at how quickly Pobita are out of the server too. They didn't even have time to respawn. Half of that wall, half of that outer shell was basically gone before anyone even turned their heads in that direction. But here we are with PvE bots. They are back inside Kahuna's base. And Asrar, of course, like usual, but Doe has been able to deal with him.
I'm wondering if DFDF decided to back off of this one or if they're still outside, keeping Kahuna distracted.
Well, we do have a lot of members of PvE bots in here. We saw RAR just before getting taken out. It looks like DFDF are still outside, but I don't know how close they are to this base currently. Largely controlled once again by PvE bots. I mean, we saw that Big Kahuna had to basically respawn from the roof, and that's really all they had left in terms of bags inside of their base. You can see how much damage has been done to the side. PvE have control over this compound, the shooting floor in control for Mega as well, and it's only roof access now for Big Kahuna.
Yeah, you can see him up there, like, poking his head out, but I don't know what Kev is doing up there. He's maybe just waiting for an opening to drop down, staying silent.
And it's so difficult, right? When you're in like this raid situation of being able to secure the loot and bring it back to where all your bags are, there's like so much you have to worry about. And so if they only have their boxes and bags upstairs or beds upstairs, I have to imagine they're running low on guns, they're running low on heals.
Oh yeah, and then kits, any of that armor. I mean, this is the helmet and chest plate is usually what you'll see running around. Those are key. I mean, it's that extra protection. It might give you that chance to get one more shot off and actually take out a raider.
All the beamers, we know how good these guys are at PvP, and it's all coming down to now just raiding. You can see they're getting through these doors once again. These always, though, are doing the work. They are stalling this out. This raid has been going on for, I want to say, what, 30 minutes now?
I would say so. I think there was a couple of breaks. Probably, which
get the orange slices, get some water.
I brought the juice. It's fine.
Oh, man.
Because you imagine how much they're talking to each other, and I mean, with us, we know how much it tires you out to talk because we're talking nonstop through these 3 hours or 2 hours or however long these get. And so these guys are talking nonstop, and a lot of these players played EU as well. So that high intensity, that adrenaline is going on towards the end, especially in NA. They're kind of like, oh my God, we're still doing this.
And that's the thing, right? I don't know. Like, for a lot of these players, they are experienced, right? So maybe the adrenaline doesn't get to them as much. You know, you don't get gassed out like the adrenaline gas that happens typically. But I know, like, if I'm getting online, after like 10 minutes, right, on online defense or something, I'm just done for the rest of the day. I can't do anything else.
You've got the shakes. I mean, and there's only really an break for the players. If they survive the entire tournament at EU, they have 1 hour to relax, maybe eat something, and then they're right back at it again. And it takes a toll. But these guys are so great at it, and they're still able to play at this level.
Looks like Big Kahuna, though, are actually defending. They've pushed out PvE largely, and they are dealing with DFDF. DF, I think they're just going for like one last Hail Mary to try and get this TC because they are so close. They're only 20 points behind Too Hot. Really, if they kind of focus on PvP, they could catch up to Too Hot.
Yeah, that is if Too Hot hasn't decided to also move in on somebody else, which it looks like.
No, they're getting raided.
Oh, RU Gang has decided to go after the #1 spot.
That's massive because really for basically the rest of the lobby, the only way to catch up is to actually take out Too Hot and DFDF. So for RU Gang, who are currently in 4th place, they're only 3 points behind Cherokee for 3rd. They end up taking out Too Hot. Possibly someone goes out after DFDF. This is massive. They are inside their base. There's open doors. They have cracked this base open.
Yeah, it's really good for them, but if they don't complete this and take this TC, Too Hot is also going to be earning raid defense points during this, and so it's still going to keep them above DFDFD until they start getting points.
Yeah, that's right. Like if they survive until the timer runs out, they will get the raid defense points. So they have to complete this, otherwise it's over. But that is the Hail Mary play that RU Gang understands. They have to go after Too Hot. They have to take out the #1 teams. There's 148 points between them and Too Hot. So there's almost no way to catch up other than to go for this play.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, Yogi with a massive flank along with Jamesy ends up clearing out the entirety of RU Gang.
Oh, that was great. So now RU Gang may have put a target on their own backs, and Too Hot may just go, guess what? We're coming to find you.
Thanks for the boom.
Yep. Thank you for the boom, and now we
Yeah.
have enough to come and get you.
You're just in chat.
So you get a
drop
little
chords.
revenge. just tell us where you're at. We'll come. We'll say hi.
Yeah, we'll return the favor for you. Online for online. Let's go. This online, though, has been going on for so long. PvE bots are still here, along with DFDF. They know with 11 minutes to go, they just kind of have to go for this, especially for DFDF. They're 20 points behind Too Hot right now. We'll see once the raid defense comes in. It didn't seem like it was that long. So I don't know how many points they'll get for the raid defense for Too Hot, but for DFDF, I mean, the PvP kills here could be enough to catch them up.
Yeah, only 19 points away, so it's definitely doable. As long as PvE and the PvE bots and they don't get into a fight and it stalls the raid even more. But I don't know. I mean, I think it's still very possible, and we do see some rockets still going in, which I love to see. Yeah, going into that shooting floor.
And like
Ooh,
one
no.
really good sign of like seasoned players when it comes to Rust is, like you mentioned back before, knowing when to push out. Big Kahuna consistently throughout this raid defense, they have been finding their moments to be able to push out. Doe is out here once again, now being the thorn in the side of DFDF, but Bim Bam Bomb is there. We'll deal with Doe, but that does slow down the raid at the very least.
It does, and PvE bots are now back inside the base once again. I think they just really like this base. They want to live here.
I mean, everyone wants a castle on the high hill, right? I mean,
Exactly.
who knows what the property taxes are like for a property like this, but hey, you're gonna go ahead and take it. That's generational wealth.
Yep. And it slowed down with the rockets. But I don't know. I'm pleasantly surprised that this has stood as long as it has. The TC placement is wonderful wherever it is hiding.
Wherever it is. I mean, Raw has been in there. He's made himself home inside of this base, and he still hasn't been able to find it. And he has thrown out so much C4, used a lot of rockets. So, yeah, I don't know where this TC could be at this point.
And there's still so many doors left, and they haven't made their way up to the roof yet. And it's like almost just go grab a scrappy, or like, but the turrets are still active, so they haven't found the oh gosh, my brain just forgot what it's called, the generator, to take those out. So there's no real safe place to get up until they do that.
Oh boy, I'm hearing boom. I'm not seeing the boom though. And this might just be Kahuna's finding the bodies and just tossing them aside. So that is one strat. If you find the boom, you don't have to run it back in. There's 8 minutes left. What are you gonna do? Raid with 4 minutes remaining or something when you find the next base? Just go ahead and toss out that boom and make sure that this raid ends. Get the big points from the raid defense. They should be able to get a full 40 at this point with how long this raid's been going on.
Oh, absolutely. And I couldn't tell if that was too hot that was coming in behind DFDF. But yeah, looks like they're also making their way up here. Okay is running a long ways away.
Yeah, with how close this is, Too Hot can't just rest on their laurels, right? It's only 15 points between them and DFDF. They need to continue to find these PvP kills. That's really their best opportunity to make sure that they maintain this lead for now. So I'm glad that despite getting raided by RU Gang, some of them are still comfortable to push out to get involved in PvP.
Oh yeah, if it's so close, it's like you just have to risk it.
It does look like, though, Big Kahuna have once again defended. You can see the long run backs for a lot of these players. For DFDF, they're just finding random backs to get back in to try and find some sort of miracle play. But you have 4 members of Big Kahuna outside. Nikita has dealt with one, but Ducky trades that one out. And so Big Kahuna, once again, finding that opportunity to push out. Too Hot, though, coming in from behind from DFDF. And that might just put an end to DFDF here.
Yeah, we see Bim Bam Bomb is over near Tupac, engaging in them, but he is fairly low, even though he got one of them down to 10 HP.
Yeah, Batman is trying to regroup with Bim Bam Bomb, but as they're running back to deal with Too Hot, they have Big Kahuna on their backs as well. Again, just a really good mark of like seasoned veteran players that have played Rust for a while, knowing when to push out, knowing when you have that momentum, and find that tempo in the raid to really basically swing it back on over in your favor. So another great raid defense, but it did come down to, a lot of this being the geography, right? They chose a really good place to be able to base up.
Yeah, it did really well for them when they were being raided, not so much when they were trying to go after DJ. That open expanse, it was really hard for them.
Yeah,
And
we
Too
saw.
Hot was pushed back, or I believe they both died.
Yeah, there were just too many players out here. DFDF coming in from behind, Big Kahuna pushing out as well. But, they got a few kills for themselves. But now DFDF, if they can maybe find some kits here with all these bodies out, all these players outside, this is an opportunity for them to actually get the PvP kills to try and catch up against Too Hot.
It is, but Big Kahuna is just sweeping through them. Oh my goodness. And it's done, other than people respawning in naked.
Yeah, this is almost the entirety of Big Kahuna. I think they might have just left one player inside. Take a look. There's still someone from PvE bots like, I got this, guys. We're so close. We're so close. We have 5 minutes. I have like 1 C4 remaining. I got this. I have 1 explode, like rifle ammo remaining. I can do this, guys.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure that's with how much they've used on this one.
Yeah, it's good.
It
Like,
was-
I mean,
it was a
I
good
got
attack.
satchels, guys. I got bean cans. I got this. Like,
Just the remainder, the dregs that they were able to put together.
yeah. I mean, I'm hearing boom.
Wait till you hear the jackhammers. That's when you have to worry.
All right, guys. They have a tier 3 here. I've got 6 jackhammers. Let's go. That's a man after my own heart. If I see someone trying to soft side, props to him.
Yeah, I have seen a few jackhammer kills. It's been fun to watch. I love seeing when another gun is being used or the empty. It's fun.
Take a look at the leaderboard.
Ooh, oh, this is close.
Oh, Big Kahuna were not able to clean up that well. They ended up all going down. Now it's between 1 point. 1 point between Too Hot and DFDF. This is a literal race to the finish. 4 minutes to go, and it's going to come down to PvP.
Oh, Too Hot better be finding a fight really quick.
Hey, are you getting drop those cords?
Yeah, please. We need somebody, please.
1 point difference. It's now tied. Too Hot and DFDF. This is my second time doing base invaders, so I don't know. How do tiebreakers end up working out?
I have not seen a tiebreaker yet, so I don't know. And
All right,
DFDF
Ian,
has
Gigi,
gotten the
someone
first
help us out here, please, because this is a literal race to the finish line. This is a literal race to the finish line. 1 point between DFDF, but it's DFDF that are currently in fights right now. You can see them swapping positions left and right once again. 3 minutes remaining left to go. Big Kahunas are pushing out, but that's just feeding points into DFDF.
Yeah, if they had just remained at their base, they wouldn't have to worry about that.
Oh boy, Big Kahuna is still trying to push out though, but now DFDF have taken the lead. They have a 4 point lead over Too Hot. Too Hot scrambling now to trying to find any kind of PvP, but there's very few teams remaining now left in this game. And we saw at the beginning of the building phase that so many teams were so far spread apart.
Yeah, it's not an easy way to find just, oh, well, let's just go to this neighbor. Most of them have been wiped out now. And so now they have to make these long treks. And if they don't have a camper van or if they don't have a heli or scrappy, they're so isolated. They're just where they are. And it's unfortunate.
Big Kahuna did ultimately get the seal on their base. They'll get those points for themselves. They are down there in sixth place, though, unfortunately for them, being so isolated out here on this side of the map and not taking as much initiative when there were raids going on around them. They will be down there in sixth place currently, but still, we saw a great raid defense coming out from them. But right now, the story of the hour is going to be DFDF, now with almost a 20-point lead over Too Hot with all the action they're getting around this base.
That's amazing for them. They've just gotten so lucky with that. With how many raids Too Hot has completed, it just shows you the skill level of these guys in their PvP fight and why that is as such an important factor and not just the TCs.
I can't wait to take a look at the stats pages when we're all done because, yeah, Too Hot maybe has five, I think, five raids under their belt. I mean, we saw in the first 30 minutes they had about three or four, yeah, three TCs as they were able to just chain raids and raids. But,
Mhm.
the momentum gets away from you at points. DFDF, they've been constantly PvPing. Right now, we're seeing almost a 18-point lead, and there's only a minute and 30 seconds left to go. They need so many kills.
Yeah, they would need too much. I think does look like they were able to find a fight. They are trying to, but I think too little, too late for Too Hot.
Yeah, I think just mathematically, right? Like you put someone on bag timer, you don't have time for them to come back in time to try and farm up some more. You're just like leaving little breadcrumbs, guns out in the open. Please pick it up so we can kill you. They're just hoping for anything. But DF with their tenacity, they've got another raid platform back on down. Even with a minute left, they're like, guys, raid platform, let's get this TC. But you can see Big Kahuna consistently pushing out. Still, regardless of how this shakes out, it all works out in DFDF's favor.
It really does. I mean, Big Kahuna, I mean, they're just doing their job. They're defending, they're getting points, they're pushing back. They're also getting PvP points. They're in sixth spot right now. It's not super beneficial for them to keep fighting in this, but at the same time, these are guys that they're not just going to sit back and relax. They're going to try. I mean, they're going to do as much as they can towards the end.
Yeah, and half the fun of a raid, not just defending, but it's also the PvP throughout all of it. And so they're enjoying this regardless. Everyone is out here just having fun week in, week out. We do this every Sunday for EU and NA. And with 10 seconds left to go, it's going to be DFDF taking the win, taking the momentum away from Too Hot. We're just leading in the overall leaderboard basically the last hour and a half.
Yep, and that does it. So here's our leader, DFDFD. I mean, after watching this the entire time and seeing Too Hot being as strong and show up as strong as they did, still they were able to do this just because DFD didn't give up on fighting this group,
Yeah,
and that's amazing.
388 total kills amongst the six of them. Remember, this is 6v6. Those are absurd numbers. Nikita, Mahmood, both of them almost hitting triple digits there for their squads, 97
Oh
and
wow.
95 respectively. I can't read that name. I'm sorry. I cannot read Russian, but 57 kills, 52. I mean, it was a good job coming out from the entire squad.
Oh, absolutely. Even their lowest numbers is great turnout. 41 kills. I mean, that's amazing. And it shows you they only had 3 raids completed and 2 raid defenses. So I mean, those extra points helped a lot, but it was the kills for sure. That's 300. I mean, that amount of points is amazing.
Yeah, that was so close between first and second place. Too hot. Despite having more TCs, just not having as much PvP basically at the end there was the difference. And so, yeah, take a look at how close it was. 2 points. I'm wondering if that might be a little bit of error in the API or whatnot, but regardless, we knew how close it came. It came down to the wire. It came down to the final 10 minutes of play here in Base Invaders.
Yeah, and I mean, they did an amazing job. I'm not sure what the numbers were. Maybe they were also being rated at the same time. Too Hot might have been on the radar. We didn't look at the map. So that could be where those extra little bump and points came for, was maybe a raid defense.
Oh, yeah.
So it's nice to see. I mean, it's so sad. It has to be heartbreaking, kind of, whenever you've held on to that for so long and then it just slips through your grasp,
We
just
did
by kills.
we did see RU Gang try to go after them, right? Around the 20-minute
Hmm.
mark. And there was, I mean, the base looked like it was in shambles. They were inside. They were inside the shooting floor, or not the shooting floor, but in the inner peak downs. And a lot of doors were dealt with. So Too Hot did get slowed down a little bit. They end up getting the raid defense points there. And you might be right. There might have been a secondary raid coming out from I don't even know who. Maybe Gamu. Remember, they had a really nice regroup to come in and basically just rocket pummel side of a base and get that for themselves. So might have been Gamu who were able to regroup and maybe try to go after Too Hot at the end there.
Yeah. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like we'll be able to look at the other stats of the other teams. We have some new fun covers and like the stat sheets for everybody to look at. And of course, like all new things that get added, it gets glitchy every now and then.
Yeah.
But guys, I mean, that was 25 teams down to 8. That is such an amazing turnout and great. It was nonstop. I think there was only like a 5 where there wasn't any raid going on, if that. And it was just nonstop action, and these guys did amazing.
Yeah, today was definitely an extremely fun day of raids. We had our fun regardless of the phase as well. I mean, especially during the building phase, getting to before the stream started, getting to take a look at all of the bases and kind of theorize around it. I mean, we kind of we had a good idea of which bases would go first, but overall, it was just a fun day.
Absolutely. And that does it for us, guys. We appreciate you stopping in, watching this, and thanks to RustoriaServers for hosting us, and Rusty Pot for sponsoring this. Thanks to all the players for showing up and giving us a great show. It was amazing. And to Gigi, our producer and observer. And thanks again, Jameson, for joining me on this. Had a lot of fun.
Yeah, I had an amazing time today. Like always, BlastRites, thank you so much for being an amazing host today.
It's been fun. And thank you. All right, guys. It just reminder, if you do want to play, there, hit !point Discord. Join the Discord. You'll get notifications when we have tournaments. I believe we're doing weekly tournaments. So you have the 2 on Sunday and possibly 2 on Wednesday. And there's always changes. There's always improvements, and we do love the feedback. So go ahead and join us. And remember, there is also YouTube. So if you didn't catch all of this, but you want to maybe see a little bit more about the base and the nice builds and see what people have done, go check out the YouTube and watch the playbacks. I think it goes back for a very long time, or we can watch the highlights and see all the fun plays. But that'll do it for us tonight. And y'all have a great rest of your night, and we'll see you again next time.